place where there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, and I need peace. Take me home. Take me home. Take me Sometimes life weighs me down. I try to press on, but every time I turn around, it seems like I'm up against the wall. My life's upside down. I need to rest away from all life's mess in your secret place. Say there's only you and me. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused, and I need peace. Take me to your secret place. Take me to your secret place. Take me to.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. We are live. Thank you for tuning in. Click the share button. If you're just watching, tag a friend. If you are watching, and for my guests, go ahead and share it on your own pages, on your own lives. Just make sure to mute your phone so we don't get the feedback. And we are live today, y'all. So y'all know we get in all kinds of topics. And tonight, we're talking about Mythbusters, about home-based businesses. Mythbusters about home-based businesses. And so I brought to you all this evening some heavy hitters. And so without further ado, I'm going to start introducing them to you. And some might be a little familiar, but we will get to know all of them very quickly here. And first and foremost, we have my soror, Miss Andrea C Scott. She is the owner and president of the Life is Rich company and a dynamic speaker and teacher. She's a leader who develops and trains other leaders for the glory of God. Yes. Andrea was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and grew up in the Bronx, New York. There's her handles across the bottom as well. She also, after 26 years career of building her multi-billion-dollar global direct selling company business, Andrea retired as the youngest Black woman to debut as an independent national sales director in the company's history. Oh, and that is so exciting. That is how she and I know each other. Andrea is also the co-author of The Force of Friendship and the anthology book of an inspiring entrepreneurs called As For Me and My House. Oh, I got to get that one. She's also a trained vocalist, jazz and gospel, and she's going to be singing with me next week. So y'all tune in live next week. We're going to be singing at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So y'all get ready. We're going to bless you. Andrea is married to the love of her life, who's right there beside her, Mr. Nathaniel Nate Scott Jr., who is also the author of the book Life is Rich: How to Create Lasting Wealth. They have two beautiful children together. And let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Nate Scott. He is the owner and CEO of the Life is Rich company. He is a former enlisted soldier, combat veteran. Thank you for your service. He is a West Point graduate, a former Army infantry officer and ranger. He earned an MBA from George Washington University, followed by completing a financial planning program at Georgetown University. Okay, brains too. I love it. His last corporate position was as a CFO of a company listed twice on INC 500's fastest growing companies. He is an entrepreneurial spirit. His journey began with personal training, followed by building a multi-million-dollar, multi-state real estate portfolio, which included a 40-unit apartment complex. Okay, so he's an investment too, y'all. And then as an owner and operator of a tax franchise, as a strategic leadership coach, Nate specializes in teaching people how to think versus what to think. His book, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program which focuses on personal growth, and entrepreneurship. It addresses the financial danger that most bankers and brokers do not want to talk about. He is married to his beautiful wife, sitting right next to him, Miss Andrea C Scott. And I'm so grateful that you all could be here today. A power couple in the house. Power couple in the house.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. Welcome. So let me just get through with all of the introductions as well. Next up, we have Mr. Mark Christmas, who you all might be familiar with. He is my cousin. He is multi-talented and he is a beast in his own right as well. He is a corporate executive. He is a wellness practitioner, RMT. He also is an author. He has over 20 years of experience in the health and wellness industry, 15 years and more. He has worked at local, regional, and national levels for retailers and consumers of different products. The classes of trade and services that he has experienced range from a mass merchandiser to drugs to wholesale to grocery. He has managed over-the-counter businesses as major retailers all across the country. And he has also worked with a national wholesaler team who supplies over-the-counter prescriptions and medicines and pharmacies and everything else across America. During his tenure as an accountant, he also served as an executive producer with Procter & Gamble. Mark was involved with launching brands such as Thermacare, Aleve, and more. He would categorize his leadership because he had development with a lot of different organizations such as oral care, respiratory, GI, and more. He worked for Consumer Health, P&G, Advil, NyQuil, Vicks. The list goes on. I didn't even know this about you, Mark. Scope, Metamucil, and more. He's developed an expertise and efficiency for applications of medications to treat various ailments for conditions of the body. And he is now a certified Reiki master practitioner, as I am as well. He's also a reflexologist. He is a shamanic sound healer, a finger point therapist. He's passionate about helping others to heal their mind and body and spirit all in one. His commitment begins with opening himself up and letting energy, y'all know I'm big on energy, and letting energy have its own intelligence to flow freely and guide us. Mark works with children, adolescents, adults, and even animals. His clients benefit from his ability to combine different modalities and provide a unique service to speed their healing process. He's also an author and he holds an MBA, y'all, and a bachelor's from Florida A&M. And with all of his experience in Fortune 500 companies, he also has become interested in pursuing studies in energy, and he started in Sedona, Arizona. He also works and has a home-based business, which we'll talk more about in a little while. And that is his website, Christmas Jewel, where they also have their show called Sacred Space, which you all can check out on Sundays. Okay. Let me go back up. And so next we have Miss Rebecca Garrett. And so I'm so excited that she said yes and that she was able to join us this evening. She is a native of Buffalo, New York. She's a retired veteran elementary school teacher who dedicates her life to enriching the lives of others. Having a compassion for education early on in life, Rebecca earned her bachelor's degree in early childhood education, her master's degree in post-secondary education, and her specialist certification in administration and leadership. So we have that in common. I don't know if we ever even talked about it, but I'm an educator. I was an administrator for CPS for a while. She also, while educating her inner city students of Atlanta, Georgia, where she currently resides, she was introduced to a relationship marketing in 2014. In September of 2017, she found her home in the health and wellness niche. She has gracefully exited the classroom. However, the gift of teaching, along with her heart to serve, fueled Rebecca to focus on helping others reach theirs. Rebecca has not only built a highly successful 7-figure business for herself, but she has also paved the way for others connected to her to do 6 figures plus as well, and 2 7-figure earners thus far. To change the course of their health and their financial courses, Rebecca educates, trains, and inspires thousands of people daily and has become a well-recognized public figure whom others admire, love, and respect. And that is Miss Rebecca Garrett's introduction. I told you, I brought y'all some heavy hitters, okay? And last but not least is my girlfriend. Oh, we've been friends for a long time. We met through Mary Kay, but we've stayed friends way long after. And she now works with another company. And so she says she has been in the financial industry for 8 years, Miss Iris Gonzalez Torres. And she honestly needed to learn how money actually worked because she thought she had done everything right and later found out that there was a better way. So today, she educates the market for the top insurance and retirement companies. She teaches people how to control their finances and live with peace of mind. Ooh, and nothing like peace of mind. That if they were to ever get sick or injured or permanently injured or even die or retire, they always will have a strong financial home. They will have the power in their own hands to make the money work for them and not the other way around. Today, she is opening up a few more offices around the country, and she is the co-owner of PHP, her own PHP agency, which is one of the fastest growing financial education and marketing companies in the United States. Oh my goodness. I told y'all, I had a cast for you. And I think they were being a little modest in these bios. Because I know they all are like 6 and 7 figure earners, and they were being a little modest. But oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you all here. So we'll go in that same order that I introduced you. And I'll just have you share first and foremost, what were some of the myths that you thought about home-based businesses before, or you might have heard, right, before you got into working for yourself as a home-based business owner. And if you care to share a little bit about your business, you can.
All right. Well, listen, I think for me, the number one thing that was a myth that I found out was I thought I had to go door to door and sell stuff. And I came to find out when I started my home-based business in 1993 that was so not the case, because I was like, I'm not going door to door to nobody. And so I think that starting a home-based business for me was literally my niche. I knew that I had entrepreneurship in my blood, even though I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my family. And so it was, I hated working for people. That is what I knew, that I hated working for people, and being my own boss, so to speak, and setting my own hours and all of those things was absolutely a blessing and a godsend for me. So.
Oh, I just love it. Thank you for sharing. Nate, would you like to?
Absolutely. I will share that the myth that I like to debunk is that a home-based business is all the same. So many times where people think that they have a business when in actuality they're self-employed. Do you have a business or are you self-employed? And then many times people look at me like, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, can you go away for 6 months to a year and come back and having more than when you actually left? And that's really what puts people in shock. And then that's when I talk about systems. And so the thing that I like to debunk is that the idea of home-based business has to be something played small, as if it was something like a mom and pop. The reality of it is that when you bring who you are to whatever you do, then what you'll find is that you will build it in your convenience of your income while you're working, ideally continue to stay work so that you can then put systems in place so that what you have can operate independent of you. And then you can have the option of actually walking away and doing it without going and owning your own job. And that's what I was able to do at 32 when I financially retired, moved to Jacksonville, sight unseen. I did so because I had systems in place that allowed the business to truly create income And then I had the choice of doing things that I want to do versus walking into a job and then being broke and basically having more time working than you have actually having money. So
I am the systems queen. So you hit it on the money with the systems. You have got to have systems in place, and you have got to have help. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Mark?
Yeah, thanks. I love that piece you said about the clarity you got, Brother Nate. Thank you for sharing that. So just real quick to keep it. So my first exposure to home-based business was actually my grandmother, who is not competition for y'all anymore because they don't exist. But my grandmother was a district manager for Avon. Hopefully, no offense to any of the non-Avon or Mary Kay people, as an example. And my grandmother was.
Hey, now, Mark. Now, we don't talk about the mother brands.
Yeah, I don't think they even exist anymore. Yeah, I apologize. So anyway, she finished high school at 16. Finished high school. I mean, not graduated, but stopped going to school at 16. By the time I was born, 1969, she had owned her own home, had a car that she got every couple of years. She was debt free. She was the top 1%, so she traveled the world. Now, because my mother was pretty young when she had me, my grandmother, I spent a lot of time with her almost as a second mom. So she would take me to work with her, right? And that was breakfast by around between 9 and 10, breakfast and coffee between 9 and 10. We out on the streets. And by, 3:30, 4 o'clock, we was going to, depending on the day of the week, it might have been KFC, or some days, special days, it was Red Lobster. And then home by 5 to watch the news, maybe even 4:30. And so it's because she got systems and she had that was built around the schedule. And I didn't even understand the time freedom. That just now, fast forward 40 years later, 50 years later, the freedom of time that provides you an opportunity to really have a quality of life that is very different, I think is one of the biggest misvalued or undervalued availabilities from a home-based business. And so, and then you always have people that have their opinions around what's the right business, what's is this for me, is this for real, and all those kind of different questions. But the reality is, what kind of leader are you? What kind of business acumen do you have? What do you bring into the party to help your life be better, and then to help others that want to emulate that? And then the other things just kind of fall in place if you've got that in place. And so I think the other thing is that the home-based businesses are awesome, but it's up to us to really, do it like we're supposed to.
Can I just say your house is beautiful? He just moved. I haven't seen this house yet. I'm looking in the background at the piano. Thank you.
Thank you.
My goodness. Yes, that is so true. And I think it's important that you realize that children is not really what's taught. It's what's caught. And right, she brought you with you. She brought you with her, right? And now you are an entrepreneur working a home-based business. And so I can say the same for my mother, honestly. And so I think it's truly important that we include them in building our businesses for those who do have them. Okay, Miss Rebecca, we want to hear from you, and then Iris will chime in.
I think the biggest myth for me when it comes to home-based businesses is that they're all the same. I think that unfortunately people are introduced to a lot of opportunities that are not built on integrity. They may or may not have great leadership. They may not have the best compensation plans, and people put in a ton of work and they don't get out of it what they have put in. And so, of course, everything that we do when we go about in life has to do with our experiences. And so if you've experienced one, you feel like you've experienced them all. And so I've tried 3 opportunities before I came to the one that was absolutely amazing. And when I tell you, they are like day and night. And so that was definitely a huge myth for me. I thought that they were all the same. I had experienced some bad things, and I just thought that is how every single home-based business operated until I found out that that is absolutely not the truth.
Thank you. Iris, you want to chime in?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest myths that we deal with, not just in our country, but
It's not taught. This is stuff that's not taught in school. No one teaches you how to, go to school, get a good job, to work for a great company, get good benefits, and then start a home-based business. So it's foreign. But if you look at the early times of our country, everyone had a business. Family businesses is what started our country. That's what we were built on, entrepreneurship. And so the myths today are, I need a lot of money. I need a lot of money to start a business. And that's really not the case, right? And so I agree with everybody on this platform. It's definitely about timing, supply and demand, and systems. Everyone's talking about systems, but in our company, we say systems save yourself time, energy, and money, right? That's what system stands for. So when you think about coming to a business, if you have the proper system and there's the supply and demand, and you can find how to market. I think one of the biggest myths in business is that I just started a business and it's going to be profitable. So I get to sit back and just watch me become a millionaire, right? And I think people forget that your 9 to 5 is what keeps you afloat and pays your bills, but your 5 to 9 is what starts your legacy. That's where your platform begins. And I think people underestimate the work it takes over a period of time, and they overestimate what they could do in a short period of time. And to me, when you're looking at business and you're looking at it from a standpoint of, can I do this? And I agree with Rebecca. So many people have a preconceived notion of what business is all about, and they're constantly wondering, this business doesn't work, home-based business. No, maybe you don't work. And I know that that's hard to swallow, but maybe you have to assess yourself, your daily habits, your daily discipline, because just like any relationship, you take yourself to the next business. So I think that self-development is a bigger key. Supply and demand is a big key. Systems, and really being the right person at the right time, but also believing in whatever you're doing in your crusade. And to me, a home-based business, those myths are, it's hard, I can't do it, it's too expensive, it doesn't work, they're all the same. And that to me is just a myth, and people need to really dive into the water, get to know themselves first before they can flourish anywhere else.
Oh my goodness. Facts and facts on facts. Man, y'all are really giving it to them. Hey, they are all not the same. And absolutely, I love that breakdown you gave for systems. I'm going to use that one. Nate, you want to jump in? Come on.
Yeah, I want to follow on with what Iris just now said, what Iris just said, and it's about those habits. I have something on page 5. I said, daily habits done daily build character. I'm your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper or heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might as well turn over to me, and I will do them quickly and correctly. I'm easily managed. You must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of great people and Allah's of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I'm not a machine, though. I work the precision of a machine plus the intelligence of a person. You may run me for profit or run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I am habit.
Woo! Snaps on snaps on snaps for that. Yes. See, we got to get that book. That is so true. Okay, we got some comments. Thank you for commenting. Felix says, Iris Gonzalez is amazing. Thank you, Inez Jones, for bringing all of these awesome leaders together in one platform. You're so welcome. Priscilla says, love hearing Iris speak. Girl, you shared it to your timeline. Thank you, Nzafaye, for watching and tuning in. And I saw some other people say hello earlier. Joan and Tanny, thank you for tuning in and watching. And anyone else, comment. If you all have questions about the topic, comment. We would love to have a conversation with you. We love the interaction and we love the comments. And so I have another question for you all. I would like to know, what do you feel has been one of the biggest obstacles that you've had to overcome with being a home-based business owner? And Rebecca, I'm gonna ask you to start this one,
hun. Biggest obstacle has to do with being crazy enough to think that your friends and your family members are going to support you.
Say that again.
That is probably one of the biggest obstacles. A lot of people get into a home-based business, regardless if it is direct sales or just a business that they have created themselves. And they think that their friends and their family members are going to be the first to support them. And typically it is the complete opposite. And what I have come to realize, no shade to friends and family members, but one of the things that I began to realize is most friends and family members are not going to support you because they have a very hard time understanding, believing, and accepting that you guys came from the same place and you're elevating and they're staying the same. That will require them to take a hard look and reflection at themselves. If they're in a position where they're not happy and they're complaining, they're doing this and that. So it's easier for them to be negative Nancy, broke Betty, suspicious Susie, and whoever else is out there. Instead of, hearing you out and potentially supporting you, or even if they aren't going to support you, at least give me constructive criticism to help me grow. But instead, it's usually negativity. And so I think that's one of the hardest things people deal with when they start a business. So they need to understand that they're going to have some form of attraction, marketing, advertising, or whatever, so they can go outside of their circle. The people are not going to start to support you or clap for you until they see complete strangers do so. I don't know why, but that's just typically how it is.
Yes, you said that for everybody. I know, and we're all in different industries. I'm actually in probably all the ones that they are in as well, because y'all know I believe in multiple streams of income. Okay, so but it's true. And I always tell people, you just don't expect to build your business off of friends and family alone, because it will not happen, right? You can start there maybe, and hopefully they're supportive and they'll refer you out, but that is not where you are going to really get the biggest bang for your buck. And it's crazy that total strangers will support you more sometimes. So just be okay with that. Let them be where they're at. And like she said, sometimes it's just that look, I want to call it a come to Jesus moment that they have to have with themselves for hey, what am I doing where I'm not elevating? Okay, we have some. She says yes, absolutely, and unfortunately, Miss Scott agrees with you, Rebecca. Felix said facts. Yes, facts. Okay, who else wants to answer that one?
I'll go. That's so true. I think one of the biggest obstacles that I've had to overcome is your identity and who you are. Because a lot of times when you go to the gym and you're looking at everybody losing weight and they got a six pack, you don't know where they were at before going to the gym. And some of us have more fat. We have more drama, more things that we come from, more bad blueprints. And so one of the hardest things is overcoming the 17 inches between your mind and your heart and who you are in business. I think who you self-develop to be is probably your biggest obstacle. Your energy and the people you have around you. I see so many people, when I open up offices, Iris, I want to be great and I want to make six figures and I want to change my life. And they don't change their life. They don't change things about their life. They don't change who's in their life, right? And it's like 95% of people work for 5% of the population. Why are you giving so much attention to somebody that can't help you grow, put money in your bank account, help you become a better person? And so they're taking the wrong advice. So the first thing I would say is not only your identity and who you are and who you see yourself, because your paradigm has so much to do with business. It also is your language. So many people, there's so much power in speaking life. Like God said, let there be light, and light came, right? So how do you speak in your business? How do you speak to people? Are you speaking to the heart? Are you speaking to the mind? And I think that one of the biggest things that I had to overcome was my energy and who was I going to allow to come in and never rob it, right? And protect it and allow myself the time and space to grow into the woman or the man that you choose to be in business. So many people get into business and they just believe that it's the business when they don't realize that it's who they become within the business. I hope that makes sense.
Girl, that made a lot of sense. And I think Andrea was going to chime in on this question too. Go ahead.
I know it's that comparison game. And also, who you be versus what you do, because you'll never be able to do more than who you are on the inside. So really resisting the urge to compare yourself to somebody else, because everybody else, I think Rebecca touched on it, there are people that are coming in with different skill sets, with different backgrounds, with different experiences and all of those things. And if you're looking at someone who comes in and starts a business and they are running, up the career path and you've been here for 5 years, you can't compare. You have to stay in your lane, but then you want to take the lessons and look at what you need to improve. Because a lot of times it's just a small thing that you have to tweak. And usually it's mindset. Usually it's mindset. It's like Nate says, how to think versus what to think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would say that on the biggest obstacle for me has been ensuring that I wasn't thrown in the same bucket as everyone else. The reason that this is so important is that I knew of a company for 14 years, but I never looked at it because of how people approach me. And that right there is the real tragedy, because oftentimes what will happen is when I'm advising and coaching people that are in the industry of network marketing specifically, I'll talk to them about the importance of realizing that you are the asset. You are the asset. It's not the company, it's not the people, it's you, which basically means that you've got to make sure that you protect your brand. Everything about you is a reflection of everything. And so to that end, when you're adamant about making sure that you're doing things the right way, you got to realize that sometimes you're running the walls because of other people's perception based on what they've experienced in the past. And like I said, it was 14 years that I knew of a company, never looked at it. It took me getting the information the right way that allowed me to then say to the person presenting, hey, we need to talk because I think this fits my program. And from there, what I found was that it was totally not like what everybody else was showing it to be. And so I'll say the biggest obstacle, once again, was being put in the same bucket as everyone else and not being able to get the information to the person the right way, and so that they can actually make an informed decision.
Yes. Ooh, wee. So true. So true. Thank you both for sharing that. And Mark, you want to chime in on this question? I think we would have had everyone answer this one.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I think I agree with all of the comments, and it's just interesting the thing that came up for each individual as their biggest obstacle. I think that was the question. So I think first of all, for me, my biggest obstacle when I was working for Mark, right, versus working for a corporation was being selective on who I was wanting to share it with. Right. So there's a part of me that already had decided in my mind that this person is a good person, this person is not a good person, with no real data behind that, other than it's just a feeling. And it was, I think, really based on the second thing, which is the obstacle, was I really was valuing what other people was going to think about me with having this opportunity of discussion with them, more so than I value what I thought about myself. All right. Now, no way in any kind of I've ever been associated with like a scam or being the kind of person that, looks to get over on people. But I would have that thought in my mind, like, what are they going to think? And so, and this has been said, I think, in different ways. It's like, who are you going to be, right, in the moment, right? So it's something new, it's something different, it's something outside your comfort zone. Are you going to be courageous in the face of fear, or are you just going to be fearful and paralyzed? And then also, what are you going to choose? Because every moment provides an opportunity to choose. And I found out that being selective just didn't work, whether it was because I had a low value of my opinion versus what other people's opinion was, or you just never know who's in the room, right? And so my suggestion that you always share your vision, you always share what you're up to, because you never know who's in the room and who's in the position to support what you're up to.
Woo! Speak it. Preach, Felix says. Listen, yes. It is so true. It's so true. And I am so grateful to just have you all here to be able to just share your thoughts, because you all have been in the trenches for a long time, most of our lives, not all of them, and working and building your business. We've all worked at some point for someone else, right? And we've made a conscious decision to be our own boss, to work home-based businesses where we make our own hours, where we choose when we want to pay raise, where we choose when we want like an increase, or we want to take a vacation and just chill. And so I love choices. I love options. And so I agree with everything everyone has said. So my next question that I have for you all would be, what would you consider to be the greatest blessings that you have received since making the transition to working and being your own boss and working a home-based business? Because right here, we're doing myth busters. We're busting all the myths of what people think that a home-based business is about. And so I think I saw Nate, you ready to jump in on that one? And
I have to go with this one. July 8th, 2015, as I was leaving LA Fitness early in the morning, I passed a pink Cadillac, didn't see the driver, saw it as a symbol, pulled on the side of the road. As a vehicle drove by, I flagged her down, didn't see her physically until I flagged her down, gave her a copy of the book, said, here, read this. If you get any value from it, you could pay for it later. Eventually she read it, she shared it with people, and in turn, we reconnected. She hired me as her coach. And then less than a year meeting at the stop sign, we got married. And so the biggest blessing has been my wife. And it's
so beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Don't make me cry.
Yeah, so out doing my, I'm out doing.
Hey man, don't run past that real fast like that, man. People, the greatest benefit was you met the wife by stepping outside your. Ooh, go ahead, man. I apologize.
Literally, it was literally. It was early. I didn't feel like talking to one, but I was like, okay, this is what I do. So I literally pulled on the side of the road just because I saw a vehicle that I recognized as a status symbol. Gave her the book, said, here, read this. If you get any value from it, you can pay for it later. It was about that whole thing about what do you see yourself? You got to be a person of value in order then to give value. Gave it to her. She contacted me on July 26th, telling me she'd read it. She shared it with 30 of her directors. They all wanted it. From there, she asked me to do a conference call with 200 of her ladies. I said, bring the husbands on. Then she hired me to be her coach. And like I said, less than a year meeting at the stop sign, we got married. And without a doubt, forever changed my life. And it speaks to minding your business. I didn't approach her. It wasn't no trying to holler. It was about minding my business. And as a result of that, made a friend that became a life partner.
I just love it. Would you like to chime in, Sora, Andrea?
I would love to say that was my answer. Although, I do agree with him that our story is so it's so wonderful. And it absolutely is all true. But for me, the thing that I love most about being able to be a full-time entrepreneur is I was able to quit my full-time job and leave corporate America in 1996. So I remember writing my resignation letter on Martin Luther King's birthday, January 15th, 1996, under the premise that I have a dream. And I knew that even though I was in corporate America and I was moving up that corporate ladder, that I just really knew that I was a free spirit and I needed to be doing something big to impact people and impact the world. And so having the ability to work for myself, and I think you said it earlier, Inez, which is set your own schedule and your boss and do the things that you want to do. And what happened for me was my dad passed away 4 years ago of pancreatic cancer. And the blessing for me was to be able to be with him every single day in the hospital.
She'll come back. All right, here she is. Okay.
I'm sorry. Without having to take time off, without having to ask anybody, can I have extra time? Every time my father opened his eyes, he was able to see me and look for me. When he scanned the room, I was always there. And so it's those things, being able to spend time with the people that you love and be able to live your own values, that is one of the best things that entrepreneurship and being my own boss has really done for me.
Oh, I love that. It's so true because you just never know. For me, Mary Kay was a blessing in disguise. I told him I was not a salesperson. I was the shopper. I wasn't doing this thing. And when I got sick, it was able to take care of my big girl bills. And when your father got sick, you were able to be there. And you found your hubby. So I love it. I love it. You just never know what will come out of it. And so I appreciate you all sharing that. Rebecca, would you like to chime in?
Biggest blessing. I think that everybody on here has made an amazing amount of income, right? So I'm not going to talk about the commas or the zeros. I think the biggest blessing for me was to be able to take the passion that I had for teaching my students inside of my classroom, but where I felt trapped and stuck and the life was being sucked out of me, and being able to transfer that same skill set outside of the classroom and being able to help other people manifest their authentic greatness, as I like to say. So for me, the biggest blessing has just been helping people really authentically and organically, not because I benefit from it, not because I'm going to be able to status advance from it, but literally just being able to help people. I've helped a lot of people heal, a lot of people, overcome limiting beliefs. A lot of people understand that abundance is their birthright. A lot of people have been able to forgive. I do a lot of stuff with, my team on goal setting and forgiveness and, just different things that you need to move on in life to be able to live a life of fulfillment. And so outside of the income, of course, I would definitely say the biggest blessing has been able to sow seeds into other people, because my goal has always been to create a legacy that lives on long before me. And how else or what bigger way can you contribute to society than being able to help someone, become a better version of themselves? So that's definitely been the biggest
love it. And it's so true. And I think I relate so much because we're both educators by nature. And it's so true. You're teaching, you're still teaching. And the teacher's always a teacher. We are always going to teach. And you're just teaching a different skill set. Now we teach people skills. Now we teach financial acumen. Now we teach money management. Now we teach how to build leaders and how to learn how to teach other people how to rally and how to transfer skills. Because I find a lot of times people have not learned how to transfer what they do well to other people. And so I'm just so grateful because I have learned from all of you. That's why I asked y'all to be on here. I admire y'all from afar. Or we've had a phone call or a little message or something. And Andrea knows she's a mentor of mine, and I'm looking to break her record for the youngest African-American national Mary Kay's history. And so I just love it. I love it. I love it because iron sharpens iron. And if you're the smartest person in your friend circle, it's time to get a new circle. It's time to get a new circle because you need to be around big thinkers. You need to be around people that elevate you, people that maybe make more money than you, or they're thinking bigger. So that will stretch you and that will help you grow because we never stop growing and we never stop learning. Okay. So let's go. I think we're going to Mark then Iris for the same question of your greatest blessings that you have received from deciding to be a home-based business owner.
So there's a quote from Neil Donald Walsh. I don't know if you all can see that. You put it. It says, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Neil Donald Walsh. Right. And when you said greatest blessing, that's what came to my mind, because it was in the decision, as we talked about before, what was the biggest obstacle is to get outside of our comfort zone. So I'm excellent in corporate America as a national sales manager, awards and all sorts of accolades. Right. And it was comfortable. I knew how to do it. I had great brands, right? I had the best training, that they say, some of the best training in a world-class organization. It was comfortable. And he talked about moving to a different industry or doing it for myself. Now I'm starting to say, can I really do it? Or was I just doing it because of who I was working for? Or was it God through me as me? And I really had to come back to this quote: "Life begins at the end of my comfort zone." And it's with those moments when I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone, whether it be in my Reiki healing. I'm a Reiki master teacher and went to Sedona and certain. And, as a young Black kid from Chicago that was raised in the Pentecostal church, energy work, all of that stuff was very foreign. I was just like, is that witchcraft? And what would my mama think? Once again, thinking about what other people think.
Listen,
I just keep it real.
Don't play with auntie.
I keep it real. Then, as the credit services, from restoring your credit, fixing your credit, removing deleted items, managing your credit and building on it going forward. Then, that was outside my comfort zone. But here's what I'll tell you: because along the journey, I learned some things that help make me comfortable. So when I worked for the accounting firm, the professional services, I was the head of business development for the accounting firms. I realized that a W-2 employee, the average tax rate is 33%. I don't care. Let's call it $100,000. 33%, 30% makes math easy. So I'm not taking home any more than $70,000. This is from what they started. As an independent business owner, the average tax rate is between 15 and 19%. Let's just call it 20 for the sake of math. Right. And so right there, it was because I'm stepping outside my comfort zone, I'm obviously opening up the opportunity to learn something new, to experience something new that wouldn't have happened. I meet the young lady at the stop sign and give her the book, and then we get married a year later. But if I hadn't pulled over and gave her the book, who knows if we'd be on the call right now. And so that's what I love so much about the story that Brother Nate shared, is because it's like all of these reinforcements. See, signs and symbols are for the conscious mind, right? But you'll miss them with an unconscious mind. And I missed plenty of them. So I'm not coming like talking at you. I'm talking about what my experience was. So my experience was having an awakening, right? Having to find something in me to embrace, even when I didn't, and especially when I didn't feel like doing it. And that's what had to change.
Yes, that's so true. It is so true. Iris, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is control. And my pastor said something on Sunday. He said there's a difference between power and authority. And sometimes when you exercise power without authority, you're out of alignment. And he goes, the enemy may have power, but he doesn't have authority over you. And that is really the story of my journey here. I was able to take time out of my business and still come back as a business owner. You know, in my company, I'm an agency, I'm a co-owner. And I don't know how many companies you can walk away from and heal and restore and rebuild your life after the divorce and come back and you still maintain the same position, because corporate America wouldn't have given me that. I don't know how many companies, when your children are going through stuff and they need you, that you can put the business aside and say, let me be there for my baby. Let me go ahead and grieve this death. You know, when my mother was in the hospital fighting for her life, I didn't look at the clock. I didn't look at the time. I didn't have to answer to anybody. I was there in the hospital by her bedside 5 days in a row, weeping and asking God to give her another chance. And that's what entrepreneurship has afforded me. And to me, that is the biggest blessing, to be able to walk and talk and live your life on your terms and not ever have to feel the control of somebody having their thumb on your head, on your time, on your children. And so the company that I have is, I'm the CEO of the National Threat Against Poverty, Oppression, and Mediocrity. And that's what TNT stands for. And so when I look at a woman that's a single mom, I can say I've been there. When I look at a divorcee, I say I've been there. I've gone through pain and I've been able to heal, because I've been able to heal on my own terms and not having to worry about somebody else's time clock.
Oh man, y'all are going in tonight. Listen, y'all comment, everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook and the groups and on their pages, on my pages. We want to hear how you all are receiving this information. And if you have questions or comments before our time is up, go ahead and type them so we can scroll them across the screen. Okay, so yes.
Hey, Inez. Let me echo with Iris. That alignment before assignment is like to say alignment before assignment. And then tapping into what Mark spoke to, this whole thing about life is rich, is live in fullness every day, realize I'm Christ's heir. And literally when you have that alignment and you're doing those things because of who you be versus what you do, it changes the whole dynamics, the spirit in which each one of you, I mean, you guys are radiating.
So true.
And see, I love engaging in conversations like this. I say great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. This right here is energizing. Any and every time I had an opportunity to speak to quality people, you can see and feel all those things. It's nothing contorted. It's all authentic. It's real. And so it's all there. So thank you for sharing what you guys both shared.
Yes. And I saw a comment come across that was nice that I want us to put back up there, please. It says, yes, Mr. Wright says, this is amazing and I'm loving every bit of it. Thank you for watching. Thank you. And Tanny says, yes, energy. Thank you. Yes.
Hey,
yes.
I love that Felix Sanchez. His energy is giving me life too, to your point.
Let's go. I love it. Listen, we make our money, but we have fun too. We have life. We're still human beings. We're just helping other people to grow. And we just decided to step out of the norm. And I always tell people, like, I use the profits from my Mary Kay business to launch my other company where I help students to get scholarship money for college with my Inez K. Jones Consulting. And I've been a business owner working for myself, by myself. Well, now I got help and employees and stuff. But since the age of 23, I started my first home-based business. And so I know that it works. And so my last question as our time goes by for the panel is, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about joining an already established company, whether it's yours or another one, or starting their own business? What would be your best advice to someone who's kind of on the fence on if they should go ahead and give it a try to either join something that's already established or start their own, or both? Who wants to go first? And you can give any last remarks. You can give any last remarks as well. Go ahead, Mark.
Let me start, because I think of us on here, I've probably had the least length of time doing a home-based business. And I'll say this, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's an apple tree, a pear tree, an orange tree. If I don't plant the seed, if I don't take care of toil the land, if I don't give it the nourishment and watering that it needs, it's not going to grow. And so the thing is, money just don't grow and just start coming in just because you say, okay, I'm in. It takes some effort, right? And your effort often, particularly if your intention is pure about helping, like all the folks we talked about here, like I sincerely want to help people have a better and higher quality of life if they choose it. If that's your intention, that's like you could pick any seed and go forward with it, and it's going to be fruitful because God don't make nothing that ain't fruitful. You can't name one thing that God has put here that didn't flourish and that he didn't nourish and it didn't flourish. So I think God has already shown me the model. Nourish it and then it'll flourish.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tanny says, speak. Tanny says, speak. Yes. Okay. Who wants to go ahead and chime in and answer that question and give any of your final remarks?
I'll address it.
Okay.
77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger. 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 of retirement. 47% of people say if they had a $400 emergency, they'd have to sell something or borrow money to address it. And 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Run your numbers and identify how much income you want per month in retirement. And then think about the best rate of return that you personally know how to get. And then see how many years you have to get there. So for example, if you say $5,000 per month, assuming a 5% rate of return, that means you need to have $1.2 million put away in, say, a 401k or somewhat. If you're right 50 years old and you're looking to retire in the next 10 years, you got to look at what you have currently and see if you are able to, say, for example, put an extra $120,000 per year to get to that nest egg. Most people will have no shot at ever getting there. That's why 97% of people say they can't retire comfortably. So simply answer the question, are you willing to take a shot at getting to the cash flow amount that you need versus having no shot whatsoever? If you can't see any way, shape, or form getting your 401k to 1.2 million or whatever that nest egg needs to be, then see whether or not you have something that will give you a shot at getting the $5,000 a month. And that just means you got to evaluate, can you really make the income independent of recruiting people? And is it something that actually gives you an opportunity to see what kind of retention rate, reorder rate, all those critical steps to prove that you have residual income, and then go all in. Make the first decision by simply identifying your situation and look at the best case scenario and see if it's worth it, having a shot versus having no shot at all.
Oh, so true. And I love the comments that came across. I saw Tara said, this is amazing. The value and insight is so needed. Appreciate all of you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Courtney says, thank you for having these powerful entrepreneurs. You are so welcome. You're so welcome. And if you all have other topics that you want me to go over, type them in the comments. I read the comments even after, because I love having different topics and things to go over that I feel people need to hear and need to be cleared up and we need to know. And so thank you for sharing, Nate. That definitely was some great insight on just thinking ahead, forward thinking, and how much money it really does take to retire and not wanting to have to retire and then still have to work or not be able to live. And so that's so true. So true. Andrea, did you want to go ahead next?
Absolutely. I would say to know exactly what it is that you want. What kind of life do you want? You know, I remember Nate said to me when I was when he was coaching me, do you ask yourself, do you want a job? Do you want a career, or do you want a life? Because every business does not give you, you know, all of those things. And so for me, I knew that I wanted to have a life, and I made a decision years into my career to exit one opportunity to now start a life and to be able to build a business with my husband and really have the options that I really wanted to have. The other thing is my I was born in Jamaica, and we have a saying, count the cost before you mount the horse. Okay. And it's count the cost. There's work involved. This is not, no business is an overnight success. People they hear the accolades and they see the money and the lifestyle or whatever, you know, all the bells and whistles, but you don't see all the grind and the nights. It's not just 9 to 5 and get off and sit on the couch and eat whatever it is that you eat. But sometimes it's 9 to 9 or 9 to midnight or whatever until the job gets done. So just know the cost and know that you are, and ask yourself, are you willing to pay the cost up front so that you can have the blessing on the back end?
Woo, that was so good. We're gonna have to watch the replay. I'm gonna have to take notes and go back and watch it myself. That was so good. It is so true. It's so true. You have to be willing. You have to be willing. So we'll go Rebecca, then Iris.
No, absolutely. I say for those who are on the fence, a business is like a baby. And I don't care how many books you read on parenting. I don't care how many seminars you take. Them things don't come with a manual, okay? And so it's just something that you figure out on the way. And I think so many people are procrastinating. They're getting ready to get ready to get ready. And it's like, are you ever going to experience the ocean? At one point, you're going to have to get off the shore, get off the sand, and get to start swimming. And yes, there's sharks. But on the other side of that is the world that you've never seen before. You know, it's like when the world was flat to so many people, they never got to experience that the world was round and that we can actually explore. And so I think business is not only just about exploring who you are, who you can be, but the impact. And Jay-Z said something really powerful. He said, if you want to help the poor, stop being poor. Stop being poor. Because you got to give people options, and we need to stop depending on, and this is nothing against government funding, right? Because I was a recipient of that at one point in my life as well. But at one point, we got to stop letting somebody else have control about who we are, who we're going to be, and the impact we want to make in our society. My children are Black and Puerto Rican, so it's important for me to give them the best quality of schools. I can't wait for the government to do that for them. My daughter wants to be a doctor. I can't wait for somebody else to do that. So if you're on the fence, think about what you have to lose versus what you have to gain, and put things into perspective and say, what else is my other option? Because I think we need to put things into perspective. And when you do, you begin to start thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm never going to get paid more than what I'm going to pay myself. You're going to write yourself the business.
Girl.
Yourself to the best places, and that requires you to be an entrepreneur. So whatever you choose to do, remember that rivers give birth to streams and not the other way around. So if you want to have multiple streams of income, you better have a river like the Mississippi River that gives birth to 66 other streams, because it's that big. And so I would say focus your time, build your wealth, and then spread your wings. So if you're on the fence, you got to jump.
Yes, go ahead. You went in. I see you were ready for that one. It's so true. And how can you turn your business into multiple streams? A lot of times I find myself coaching my team on how to make their business multiple streams of income, because a lot of times these businesses have a lot of ways that you can make money. And so I love that. Okay, Rebecca, girl, you want to close us out with the answer? Close us out with your answer to the same question and any last tips you would like to give. And then I'm going to tell you about our upcoming events, so stay tuned.
Yes, I think my comment is kind of wrapping up in what, a lot of people said. So when it comes to somebody who is on the fence, whether you're thinking about joining an already established business or starting your own business, there's one secret. The secret to success and the secret to getting ahead is actually getting started. Most people, like everyone was saying, they just are sitting there. They're not doing anything. I find that you are waiting for a perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time. You just have to go ahead and make a decision and do it afraid. Fear is the only thing that's holding you back. I do believe, of course, that you have to put in the work, but choose your hard. It's hard to be broke and it's hard to be wealthy. I'm sorry, which hard would you like to go for? At the end of the day, you are going to have to put in work for both of them, because even the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, they are still going to work every single day. They're struggling. They're dealing with stuff that they don't want to deal with. So they're still putting in effort and sweat equity. So choose your hard. Which one would you prefer to go ahead and put your time into? So at the end of the day, in order to be successful, in order to go ahead and get to where you're wanting to go, you just have to get started. Like, the time is now. You don't need to wait tomorrow. You don't need to wait till next week. You don't need to wait till next month. I tell people all the time, if God dropped the seed inside of you, that idea, that whatever you want to create, he gave you all the tools necessary. They are inside of you now. He never places your future or your purpose or whatever you're supposed to do in front of you, behind you, to the left or to the right. It is already inside of you. You just have to pull it out and get started. And so that would be it.
Woo! And Makita says, feel the fear and do it anyway. Yes, Rebecca, you said that. You said that because if it's in your heart, like you said, if God put it in you, like it's for a reason. And I say it on every live. I'll say it again. We all have a mission and a purpose on this planet, and you are here for a reason. And your job is to figure out what your soul's purpose is, so you can help usher.
Real quick, and then I'm gonna. I was reading Dr. Miles Monroe the other day, and he was talking about how every single person that comes to the earth, God gave you a gift that you're supposed to birth, and you owe me. I want your gift. So whatever book you're supposed to write, whatever business you're supposed to create, whatever problem you're supposed to solve, that might be something that I need, my mama need, my child need, whatever it is. So if you do not bring that forth to the earth, number one, you're being selfish, and number two, you owe me, and I want what you have because I might need it.
Woo, so true, so true. Oh, it's perfect quote. And we all have gifts. And so what are you doing with yours? Everyone has something that you do better than anyone else. And so we definitely want you to utilize it. So now we're going to show you our upcoming slides because the hour, it goes by so fast. But next week, we want you to tune in and Miss Andrea C Scott and myself, Inez K Jones, we're going to be singing for y'all next week. Y'all tune in. Okay, because if y'all thought I could sing, wait till you hear her. And I just love it. She is a mentor for me and my soror, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited that we're doing this, and you'll get to hear from us. And so make sure to tune in for that. And yes, do not hide your light under a bushel. So true. Tara says, come on, Rebecca, my toes hurt now. And the next event that we have coming up as we are tuning in and going to our next slide here, we have a couple of other events. So if you are following me on @InezK Jones on all social media, make sure to tune in. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we go live. And on Mondays, there we go, my tech team's on it. On Mondays, we do our Makeup Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So y'all can see how amazing Mary Kay makeup is, because I got it on all the time. Every time y'all see me, that's what it is, okay? And so August 24th, I have a makeup artist coming to you all who's going to show you how to do model glamour. She actually does models makeup for the covers of magazines and Fashion Runway. And so don't miss it. And then on the 31st, we have another event coming up where we'll roll out the new products. So we want you to tune in. And if you aren't following on YouTube or Instagram or social media for any of the speakers, we all have handles, and we did scroll them across earlier. Click the follow, click the notification button. We would greatly appreciate that, okay? As we are all building our platforms and building our followers. But this has just been amazing. And I love how things unfold, because you never know how the conversation is going to go. And I don't give them the questions ahead of time. It's all live. It's all on the spot. And it just really happens. And I believe that it's almost better that way, because it really comes out from what you feel, what you know, what you need, and what God wanted you to share. And so I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I thank you so much for being here. I thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Oh, please. You make the show by joining and sharing your insights. And I want you all to follow them. Go to their websites, buy their book. If you want to know what they do for a living, send them an inbox. We got different rules, and we can't really share everything. So just shoot them an inbox. They'll let you know. And we love to help others grow. We all do. I think that's one common thread that we all have here. We all love to help others grow. We all love to help them be their best selves and make money while you're doing it. And so if you haven't tried working a home-based business, let this be a lesson for you. Let this be a myth buster that home-based businesses are the bomb. And so our hour is up. Thanks again to my speakers. Thanks for my watchers. I love you all. And if you are not in my new group, Breaking Belief Barriers, you got to add it. You got to request to join and fill out the information for Breaking Belief Barriers for my new Facebook group. And then follow me at Inez K Jones on all social media. And y'all listen to my song as we leave. That's my song playing called Secret Place. You all have a fantastic evening, and we will see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll be singing for you all. Good night.
I'm so confused. And I wanna be, I gotta be, I need to be in your confused, and